Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So today I got a fun and exciting video for you guys today because I am playing Mega Man X Viral Nightmare. This is a reimagining of Mega Man X6 from Cat Yard Games, which basically thinks to itself, what if Mega Man X6 could do more? And even if for some strange reason the text boxes as well as the heads-up display are way too small in this demo, honestly I had a ton of fun with this one, as did Andy D, who helped with the captures. And getting more 2D Mega Man's always going to be a fun thing because it really feels like Capcom just basically forgot that this franchise existed because we really haven't seen much traction or movement from Mega Man in a while. And honestly, even though this is just a demo and work in progress, it shows a ton of promise, and I want to see the entirety of this project get finished up. Before getting much further involved though, do me a huge favor, down below hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But this is the type of stuff that I absolutely love because again, even if Mega Man Do Override is in development, it really hasn't seen much as far as actual traction is concerned, and it seems that that's been pushed out to 2027 if you actually look up any sort of release date. And it definitely has a way more modern aesthetic versus the pixel art of something like X6, and honestly, that is how I always view Mega Man. I totally get that they need to modernize the franchise for new audiences, but something like this just absolutely keeps the Mega Man dream alive for classic retro gaming fans. And I will say the developers here really understand what Mega Man should be, a fast-paced, fun game with both a lot of shooting mechanics as well as some of the melee, and it absolutely is working here. And having it in widescreen 16:9 support, even if again the heads-up display seems to have a few bugs in this first demo, it just looks absolutely stunning because it is using a ton of good pixel art, although I would say some of the sprites could use a little bit of work. And if you actually go to the thread where this thing is hosted, you will see the developer is looking for some sprite artist help as well, because of course not every single person has all the available skills to be able to do everything themselves. But as far as actually just playing this game and experiencing it is concerned, it feels like Mega Man, it looks like Mega Man, it sounds like Mega Man, and that is because it is just a Mega Man game, just not made by Capcom. And it is kind of fun. Capcom kind of just turns a blind eye to all of these different things, and they have for a long time when it comes to fans playing around with the Mega Man franchise. Now, as far as what's going on in the story, you'll just have to guess yourself, because I tried to get this thing to run and I got the same issue Andy D did when he was helping capture, which was that text, which is absolutely tiny. Kind of reminded me a little bit of Dead Rising, where if you played on a CRT television, it was impossible to read any of the menus. But I really like the parallax scrolling here as well, even if it is kind of light, although I would say maybe that background could use a little bit of animation, maybe some of those lights could flicker. It is a very small thing, but obviously this being in development, it's kind of fun to talk about what is working and what could be improved. And I'm getting like a 10% Cuphead vibe here as well with this section with some of those different colored orbs. But you tell me down below so far, how do you feel about Viral Nightmare? Are you into it, or is it one of those things you kind of prefer the original X6? Because even though I don't think X6 is one of the best games in the overall X franchise, I feel like if you read reviews from back in the day, maybe they're a little bit more unfair to it than it actually deserved. But it was one of those things. We had had so many different 2D Mega Man games in a row that I feel like maybe the overall game playing audience as well as reviewers were growing a little bit tired of seeing basically what amounts to the same game being made over and over again. I mean, personally, you give me more 2D Mega Man back in the day, I was very happy and I would be in line to buy it the day it came out. But I can kind of understand by this point in time there may have been a little bit of Mega Man X fatigue, because between the original franchise as well as X and all the spin-offs, we had seen this game probably like 30 times, even if every single game was different. And I love this area right here. Definitely a lot of fast twitch combat and a lot of avoidance of the boss. Really does feel really special, and that is the fun thing. This feels both like a game you played before as well as a game that you've never actually seen before, and that is a hard kind of needle to thread when it comes to making a game that is based on an existing franchise, an existing game at that. And I would say the developers here definitely are on the right track, and I just want to see this thing definitely get finished up with some improvements and a lot more levels, because right now you're going to have 5 areas to explore, and then from there you're going to have to wait for Demo 2 or the finished product. You'll see there's Mega Man goes through that door, a little bit of sprite weirdness, but again, it just doesn't really seem animated. Let's go to the first of 2 soundtrack samples, because you know the music's got to be good. It is a Mega Man game after all, and I'll be right back to show you more of Viral Nightmare and try to convince you to play it. I mean, that's absolutely amazing and impactful music, but what else would you expect from a Mega Man game? Anything less would be a disappointment. And just so we are on the same page here, this is not a ROM hack of the original Mega Man X6. This is a from the ground up redevelopment of it, with the developer kind of putting in what they think would be best for Mega Man X6. Because like I said, even if the original isn't as bad as reviewers made it seem like back in the day, giving it 3 and 3.5 out of 5, it definitely isn't the best X series game whatsoever, but maybe it could become one of the top 3 or 4 after you actually get this entirety project done. And that really is the fun thing. I love that fan developers are going in and continuing to make this stuff for us, and I will say the art style here absolutely impeccable when it comes to widescreen. Being able to see the enemies a little bit further off screen makes a difference, and their placement and how the action actually works is doing a good job when it actually involves where they are in the 16:9 screen space. Although some of the background there did seem to completely disappear into black, so it definitely is a situation where it could use more work. But again, this is just a demo, so this is not a review, and that's exactly why developers do demos like this. They want fan feedback, they want player feedback, and they want to see where the bugs and glitches come from. Because trust me, it doesn't matter how much you test something, when you actually release it to a wider audience, they're going to find issues, and even things that might be benefits in the actual code and gameplay that you never would have thought to look for or never encountered. That's why even with modern AAA games, when they release, there's just bugs all over the place. Not saying that's the case with Viral Nightmare here, it's just kind of indicative of how this process actually works. But I love the absolutely massive sprites here. I love that warning coming in. It just absolutely looks stunning in all of the colorways. That kind of yipe, stripes, berry, gum, golden hour sunset in the background. Again, it just has all of the look and feel I need of something like a Mega Man X game. Although I do wish that boss sprite would drop down just a little bit so we could see the top of it, maybe just kind of bordering the overall image frame there. And as far again as the story is concerned here, just have absolutely no idea, because that's something that I tried on more than one computer, Windows 10 as well as Windows 11, to try to get working correctly, and it just didn't end up working out for me. But this massive sprite with those red, blues, and pinks in the background, kind of looking like that classic red and blue comic book 3D, it just absolutely has a visual story to tell, and it definitely does work. And the nice thing is, all of the combat, all of the fluidity in the controls is there. The sprites could definitely use a little bit more work, but otherwise, this is a very promising start, and I'm absolutely hoping that it does see the finish line. Now, of course, nothing is guaranteed in life, so we don't know if this thing's ever going to be finished. I would say probably about half the games I talk about in demo that are from fans on the channel have actually seen a release since then. I'd say the other half are either in active development or we just don't know, or they get abandoned somewhere down the line. But this is definitely one of my top choices for seeing a demo actually get completed, because it has everything I want in the Mega Man franchise. And again, even though there is that new Mega Man game in development, classic 16-bit pixel art just makes me think Mega Man way more than anything else. But it's one of those things, if Capcom wants to use some 3D to make a Mega Man game, let's try out Mega Man Legends 3, let's finish that up, and let's let everyone play it, because it is still one of my biggest disappointments. Soundtrack sample 2 time though, and I'll be right back with just a bit more.
Ready?
So yeah, Mega Man X Viral Nightmare is just a fun experience, even if it isn't a finished one, and that's what you want out of something like a game like this and a fan project like this. You just want to sit down and have fun. Sure, we can talk about the fact that this is an unofficial product, and it definitely has a lot of fun tech going on under the hood, but the reality situation is when it's actually done, you don't really want to think much whatsoever about how it was done. You just want to enjoy the gameplay experience, and if they can get this thing across the finish line, maintaining this quality in the combat and overall fun factor while improving some of the sprite animations and just getting that text box to show up bigger, and again, could just be an issue that I encountered, but Andy D confirmed he had it as well, then I think they're on a really good course to make this thing something that Mega Man fans will absolutely love. Leave me a comment down below and you tell me favorite Mega Man game of all time in the X series. I would be curious. And again, Capcom, if you're listening, if you want to make new 3D Mega Man games without using pixel art, just make Mega Man Legends 3 and we'll be cool. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.